This is Becky Langmeyer. We're going to discuss some strategies for rehabbing the shoulder. Okay, the first thing you might want to do is to assess the shoulder. Just stand on it. I would look from the side or from the side to you and see if the shoulder looks rounded, which you can see it kind of does. See the center of the shoulder joint is pointing kind of forward as opposed to straight, shoulders back a little bit. Okay, so I'd want to see that. Relax. Okay, now turn the patient around or the client around, and you can look at the scapula here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's protracted. It's kind of winging. See that? Both of them are winging like that. So you probably want to address that. When the shoulder is protracted, it anteverts the anterior or the surface of the glenoid fossa. So it starts taking this surface of the glenoid fossa and pointing it inwards, which means there's less obstruction in terms of anterior subluxation. So if she were to fall backwards and land on her hand, since the shoulder is protracted or the shoulder is rounded, there's less surface to maintain this humeral head in the socket. So we definitely want to address protraction. But we're going to address the shoulder just in general. Becky also has a condition that is very rare in people. She has a missing bone, right? She has a piece of her clavicle that's missing. She doesn't have the support here. So certain things bother her. So we're going to try and stabilize or do exercises for the entire shoulder to help strengthen that area because she doesn't have the bony attachment. First, we're going to address the rotator cuff or the musculotendinous cuff. And we're going to start by doing external rotation in neutral. So I put a little foam roller under her arm to give her some distance between the elbow and her thorax. And now I'm going to provide resistance in the same plane. She's going to be moving in this transverse plane. She's going to be working the infraspinatus and teres minor. So important is that she gets in good posture, so shoulders back. So pinch your shoulder blades together, good. Head up and chin down. Okay, good. Okay, now do rotate. So I want to. Now you could do this on a cable. You could just doing this laying on your side with a dumbbell. Remember, you can't do it with a dumbbell standing up because the resistance of gravity is pulling the dumbbell down. You need to resist this motion. I could change this. Look, if I bring the angle back here, it's going to resist her most at the beginning of the motion. Go ahead. See? All right. If I bring it over here, it's going to resist her in the middle of the motion, right there. If I bring it at this angle, it's going to resist her at the end of the. Go ahead. At the end of the motion. Try not to pull back. Try and rotate this way, and then backwards. So that's external rotation in neutral. In neutral. Now we're going to move to the same external rotation motions for the external rotators, the teres minor and infraspinatus, but in the scapular plane. The scapular plane is in between the sagittal plane and the frontal plane. This is a little hard to stabilize, so stand up straight there. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to be rotating around this plane. Okay, good. I'm trying to keep this steady. And again, I can change the resistance. I can put it here so it's challenges here at the beginning of the motion. Or I can put it here and challenge in the middle of the motion. There goes the drum. That's our other train. Okay, and then at the end. Okay. Okay, so that will be external rotation in the scapular plane. Then we can go here in the frontal plane, which most people do with a dumbbell. Now you can stand against the wall, stand up straight. You could use a dumbbell here. We're going to use tubing. Okay, so now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to rotate backwards. So you can see there's resistance here, but here, start here. Go ahead. Now go up the top. Now there's not much resistance here. So watch. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna move the resistance with her. So as you go up, I'm gonna bring it out. So now I'm resisting the 90 degrees of abduction. Go ahead. That hurts a little. Where's it hurt? On your clavicle. So it hurts a little bit. So this is a little bit hard for her. So I should probably go to a thinner tube. Now this is working all these external rotators in the rotator cuff. Now you can do the same thing in all those three positions, starting here with the foam, pulling inwards, and I'll get subscapularis, and doing it here, and I'll pull down, and then up here.
Down.
Yeah. How does that feel? That doesn't hurt. Okay. So the external rotation will work the muscles deep here in the posterior part of the body, and then the internal rotation, or the medial rotation, whatever you want to call it, will work the rotator cuff on the front side of the body. So I'm going to show you the difference, or when someone has a winging scapula, the difference, or how motions can change by incorporating the rhomboids and mid-trap. Watch, I'm gonna ask her to flex the shoulder, do shoulder flexion, then I'm gonna resist her and watch the scapula. Push up. See, pop out. Look at that. Look at that. You see that? Okay, now relax. Okay, stand up straight. Just stand up straight. Now, retract. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Okay, see? Okay, now, push on against one. Okay, see that doesn't pop up as much? Come on. Come on. Okay, so it's not just doing the exercise, it's doing the exercise correctly. Okay, now watch. Now I'm going to have her do shoulder extension, so I'm going to resist her here, and she's going to pull down. Okay, go. Okay, let's see it again. Pop out. Not as bad as the shoulder flexion. So now, again, back to scapula, pinch your shoulder blades. Okay, put your arm up. Now push down. See? Not as bad. Okay, so when we go over this cable, let's do face it, and just pull straight down. So now it's important, yes, that you squeeze your shoulder blades together. So now, as she does shoulder extension all the way past you, we want to make sure that the scapula isn't popping out. So we got to keep these shoulder blades retracted. All right. So what are we working here? We're working posterior deltoid, teres major, tissimus dorsi, and the long-headed tricep. So the posterior aspect of the shoulder. Okay. All right. Now turn around. You do over your shoulder. So now we're going to work. Okay, stand up straight. Okay. Pull your shoulder. Okay. Now, straight down. So I'm going to keep my hands back here to make sure that the shoulder blades don't wing. Okay, now up. So now we're working the interior. We're working the anterior deltoid. Pec major. Lat again. Teres major. Okay, that's just from the front. You saw it from the back, now you saw it from the front. Okay, but the key thing is to keep the shoulder blades retracted and somewhat depressed. Now we're going to do a PNF pattern, kind of a 45-degree pattern, one arm at a time. Okay, and this time I'm not going to let her adduct or cross her midline too much, because it tends to protract or abduct the scapula a lot, and that's what she's doing anyway, so I'm not going to take her there. I can. Let's say I do. So I'm going to work on this rhomboid and mid-trap, pulling this, or adducting the scapula, pulling them close together, like that. Or I could restrict her range of motion and have her only come to midline, so that the scapula doesn't look it's popping out again. All right. So we're going to restrict that for a second, and slowly squeeze the shoulder blades. Squeeze them. Okay, now go. Keep them squeezed. There you go. Go back. Because I'm working on this muscle here, and the lat as well. Teres major, and the lat touches the inferior border of the scapula, so I'm trying to get the scapula, the inferior border, to stay down. Okay. Move on. Okay. All right. Now, if you wanted to do the anterior part of the shoulder, which you could, grab this one. In this case, for Becky, I really wouldn't work the anterior part because she's already round shoulder. But if you had to, you could also do adduction this way. This works the pec. Okay. In her case, we wouldn't need to do that, because she's already on the round shoulder. We want to do anything that brings her back. Okay, again, we're gonna try again work on these rhomboids and the mid-trap and retracting the scapula. So you notice I have so far most of the resistance that I've been using has been from above 90 degrees. She's not pulling from the ground; she's pulling from up. So here, instead of having people sit down, I always like to incorporate the lower body. I'm gonna have her bend her knees, take her butt out a little bit for balance, and then I'm gonna tell her, imagine there's a plane of glass here. And she's got to slide her elbows on this plane of glass and squeeze the shoulder blades. Okay? So we're trying to work these muscles here. Keep going back. Now what most people do, if the weight's too heavy, so get back there, hold it back, is you'll see an acute angle between the humerus and the radial joint. So they'll kind of like that. I don't know if you can see that. Right? They're not able to maintain this fist in line with the elbow. Right? The further away this fist becomes